Sensex Nifty end lower as shares of heavyweight Reliance Industries pulled them into losses after reporting weak Q2 results. Sectoral indices ended mixed. Hyundai India's mega 27,870 crore IPO off to a modest start sees 11% subscription in early bids. Hero Motors has withdrawn its application for a 900 crore IPO. The documents may have been withdrawn over lack of disclosures made to SEBI. This is an NDTV Profit exclusive. India eyes global leadership in 6G, says Telecom Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia at the India Mobile Congress 2024, added that India hopes to contribute 10% of patents to 6G standardization. The most keenly anticipated election has been announced. Maharashtra will go to polls on November 20th, while Jharkhand will vote in two phases on November 13th and 20th. Chief Election Commissioner Rajiv Kumar says counting day for both states will be on November 23rd. It's an NDTV Profit impact. The CDSCO swung into action with surprise inspections at pharma companies for not meeting quality standards. This after NDTV Profit's coverage of fake drugs. Hello and welcome. This is Profit 360 on NDTV Profit. I'm your host, Himankshi Bahuguna, and along the next half an hour, we'll bring you the latest on the markets as well as national and international news. So Sensex Nifty end lower as shares of heavyweight Reliance Industries pull them into losses after reporting weak Q2 results. Sectoral indices ended mixed. Now, as China witnesses strong inflows from foreign investors, we asked EPFR's Cameron Brandett about where India stands.
I think that valuation definitely is starting to be an issue. India has had tremendous momentum for quite some time now, and at a certain point, people are going to kick the tires. I think we've certainly been seeing that in the US, and I think we're starting to see it a bit in India. But India's underlying story remains very attractive, especially if we sort of move into yet another leg of global trade becoming more difficult.
Now let's get you an update of the most awaited and the largest IPO of this year. Hyundai India's 27,870 crore initial public offering has opened for subscription today and is off to a modest start. It has been subscribed as 11% as of 12:30 p.m. This is the first offer from an automaker to list in India in over 2 decades, and the entire proceeds will go to the promoter. We also got caught up with the COO of Hyundai Motor India about their plans post-listing. Listen into what he had to say.
Look, India is a very, very important market. Of course, if you see, we are already the fifth biggest economy in terms of Hyundai Motor company. It is the third biggest market for us behind US and Korea. So the Indian operations are very important. Today, we are sitting on a capacity of 8,24,000, but 250,000 capacity kicks in with the addition of the Pune plant. So this is one very big thing, because 30% capacity addition would mean a lot of headroom for us to increase both our domestic as well as export volumes. The other big thing which is happening is the electrification. So currently we have, of course, the Ioniq 5, which is a benchmark in EVs. At the same time, we like to really compete in the high volume space. Creta is a very strong brand for us, and which better model than Creta to really make an entry into the high volume EV space. So Creta EV is going to come in the next quarter, followed by 3 more EVs in the midterm.
Onto an NDTV Profit exclusive. Hero Motors has withdrawn its DRHP for a 900 crore IPO. The documents were withdrawn over lack of disclosures made to SEBI. Charu joins in with more on this.
This year, Hero Motors had gone up to the market regulator SEBI for their IPO process, which starts with a DHRP filing. And when there is some sort of an issue after SEBI scrutiny, the process for the IPO usually takes a hit. However, in this case, the company itself withdrew its DHRP, citing that there were some technical issues. However, as per the sources, we have been told that there was a lack of disclosures made to the market regulator in their DHRP. That means that some some of the material things which are supposed to be disclosed to the regulator were not done, and that is the reason why the company on its own accord took it back, probably to file it again. Now, what kind of disclosures these were is not yet known. However, we have gotten a response from Pankaj Munjal, CMD of Hero Motors Company, who said that they have 3 transformational contracts which are going to completely change the face of the company, and they will soon announce something on that front. So let's see what further actions are taken and how this unfolds.
Yeah, thanks, Charu, for that. Now, the Election Commission of India has announced the date of the much-awaited Maharashtra Assembly elections. Maharashtra will be going to polls on November 20th, while Jharkhand will vote in 2 phases on November 13th and 20th. So, Chief Election Commissioner Rajiv Kumar says that counting day for both the states will be on November 23rd. Now, to discuss further, I'm being joined by my colleague Jitendra Dikshit in our studio. So, welcome to NDTV Profit, sir.
Thank you, Himankshi.
So, sir, Maharashtra has always been a very exciting state when it comes to elections and the politics per se. So, Haryana, what Haryana saw in this elections, so do you see any sort of impact of that Haryana on Maharashtra as well?
Himankshi, I believe that the results of Haryana have been proved to be a morale booster for the Mahayuti alliance here, and especially for the BJP, because after dismal performance during the Lok Sabha elections last May, the morale of the party workers and office bearers across the rank, it was quite low, and there were negative sentiments. And many experts within the party and outside the party, they believe that BJP is going to lose Haryana and Maharashtra as well. But the results of Haryana have infused a new energy among the workers, among the cadres, and this is going to definitely, it is going to have a good impact on the performance of BJP during the election campaign. It depends how the opposition, the Mahavikas Aghadi, is going to play and take up issues. But surely the situation has changed after Haryana Vidhan Sabha results, and now, the BJP workers, the cadres of the party are quite optimistic, and they are displaying their enthusiasm, and they are hoping for a positive outcome in the state.
Yeah, and also, so Uddhav Thackeray in his speech, not clearly but very subtle, message he gave that he could be the CM face of the MVA. So, do you think that there's a mutual understanding in the Mahavikas Aghadi, like of him taking the claim as the CM? Like, if at all MVA wins in the elections?
See, it's no secret that Uddhav Thackeray aspires to be Chief Minister again. If his alliance comes to the power, if Mahavikas Aghadi comes to the power. And Sanjay Raut has, he has time and again enunciated that CM to Shiv Sena ka hi hoga, like he was saying in 2019 as well. And this time also he is pushing name of Uddhav Thackeray that he is going to become the Chief Minister. But the other alliance partners, Congress and NCP Sharad Pawar, they are not on the same page over the issue of CM face. And there are contenders in these 2 parties as well. If I talk about Congress, in Congress there are 3 names who have ambitions of becoming Chief Minister. Nana Patole, the state Congress chief, is there. Then Prithviraj Chauhan, who is former Chief Minister. Bala Saheb Thorat. So these are contenders for CM post from the Congress party. And if we talk about NCP, so Supriya Sule is there, although she is involved in the national politics. But off the record, people close to her, they tell us that she also wants to become Chief Minister of Maharashtra. She is also aspiring to become CM. Then there is another name, Jayant Patil, who is a state party chief for NCP, SP. So these names are there. So Sharad Pawar recently made a statement that whichever party gets the highest number of seats will claim the CM's post. So it depends on what sort of seat sharing arrangement these 3 parties are going to have, and which party garners the highest number of seats during the election.
Right. And also, so voters are also concerned about the local issues, and Baba Siddiqui's murder has raised another alarms regarding the law and order situation in the state. So also, if you could shed light on other issues as well, like what are the issues, major issues in the state currently?
See, if we talk about the issues which are going to be taken up during these elections, so the major issue will be of law and order, and which is like an immediate issue. Like recently, just 2 days before the announcement of election, a former legislator, a former minister is killed in a city like Mumbai. So this has put Devendra Fadnavis, who happens to be Home Minister, in a hot water. He has landed up in a hot water with this particular incident. But apart from this incident, there have been a series of incidents which has given opposition a chance to grill the incumbent party leaders, Devendra Fadnavis, Eknath Shinde, like the molestation case of Badlapur. Then there was a firing incident within the police station. Then somebody was shot dead during a Facebook Live. And there were minor incidents of communal violence as well. So the opposition parties are trying to capitalize on these incidents and trying to convey that law and order has deteriorated during the tenure of Mahayuti alliance government, and Devendra Fadnavis has failed as the Home Minister of Maharashtra. So this is one issue. Then other big issue which had given setback to Mahayuti during Lok Sabha elections as well is of Maratha reservation. So this issue is still alive, and Manoj Jarange Patil, who is leader of Maratha agitators, he has stated that he will try his best to get BJP defeated in these polls, and he's campaigning and he's giving speeches and meeting people campaigning against BJP. So this is also going to be a major challenge for the incumbent alliance. And thirdly, farmers issue. During Lok Sabha elections, farmers were quite angry, especially farmers of northern Maharashtra or Khandesh area, when government had restricted export of onion and other commodities. So although that ban has been reverted now, it has been withdrawn, but still there is some sort of anger among the farmers, which Ajit Pawar and other leaders are trying to mitigate. But it depends. There's a month's time how these incumbent parties are able to what I will say, to give some sort of relief or some sort of assurance that such ban or such kind of policies will not be adopted again. One more thing which I think the incumbent parties are relying upon, Mukhyamantri Majhi Ladki Bahin Yojana, where certain sum is given to women in Maharashtra. So that is also going to be it needs to be seen whether that helps Mahayuti alliance, because it is going to impact a large number of women voters, especially in the rural areas. So that is also going to be a big factor in these elections.
Right, sir. And Jitendra ji, lastly, I would say that Raj Thackeray will also be fighting the elections this time. So how do you see this panning out for the voters? How's the sentiment like?
Right. So Raj Thackeray didn't contest during Lok Sabha elections, but in Vidhan Sabha he has announced that he is going to contest over 200 seats out of 288. Now the issue about Raj Thackeray is that he has not been consistent in his party's ideology. In 2009, when his party fought the Vidhan Sabha elections for the first time, he took up the issue of Marathi cause. In 2000, and he got a good success. His initial success was of 13 MLAs. But in 2014, the Marathi cause didn't work for him. He got just 1 MLA. In 2019 also, he just got 1 MLA. So in 2020, he decided to change the strategy and adopted ideology of Hindutva. Yeah. So you have seen that he took up the issue of loudspeakers on mosque, and then asked his workers to play Hanuman Chalisa outside the masjids. So now he has converted himself to be a Hindutva leader, and now he has asked his party workers to call him Hindu Jananayak. So it needs to be seen whether this strategy works for him, and whose votes he is going to dent. Is he going to dent Shiv Sena UBT votes or Shinde's vote? In last election, he announced his support for BJP by saying that he wants Narendra Modi to become Prime Minister again. But this time he has not made any such announcement, and he is also targeting the incumbent parties, even the Chief Minister, during his speeches. So it needs to be seen what kind of steps Raj Thackeray is taking, what kind of a strategy he is adopting. So in coming days, I think this will become clear. Right, sir. So thank you so much, Jitendra ji, for the detailed insights. I'm sure our viewers must be,
they're very much keen. Everybody is looking up to Maharashtra elections, and let's see if Maharashtra will become the next Haryana or not.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's going to be a very interesting fight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Now, the 8th edition of the India Mobile Congress kicked off in Delhi today, featuring over 400 exhibitors and 900 startups from across 120 countries. Key figures such as Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Union Telecom Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia, and Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal addressed the gathering, highlighting the future of telecom and 6G in India. Bharti Airtel's Sunil Bharti Mittal was also in the attendance. Let's listen in.
जैसे हमने एविएशन सेक्टर के लिए एक ग्लोबल रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन का फ्रेमवर्क बनाया है, वैसे ही फ्रेमवर्क की जरूरत डिजिटल वर्ल्ड को भी है और इसके लिए WTSA को और अधिक सक्रियता से काम करना होगा। मैं WTSA से जुड़े हर सदस्य को से कहूंगा कि वो इस दिशा में सोचें कि कैसे टेलीकम्युनिकेशन को सभी के लिए सेफ बनाया जाए।
By mid of next year, we will have rolled out 4G across the length and breadth of India. 100% saturation will be completed. We've had the fastest 5G rollout in India, 450,000 BTSs, 98% of districts covered, 90% of all villages covered in a span of only 21 months. And this attitude put forward by the Prime Minister of not just embracing but bracing ourselves to becoming the first mover in the 6G technology. It is noteworthy that the Indian Mobile Congress and the International 6G Symposium demonstrates both local and global advancements in 6G and also design principles that will shape the future of telecom. With our Bharat 6G Alliance, where we hope to contribute at least 10% of patents to 6G standardization, it is our belief and our commitment that India followed the world in 4G. We marched with the world in 5G, but we shall lead the world in 6G.
The other big part of the third term is going to be opening up of space industry for the private sector. That, to my mind, is again one of the huge developments that India is seeing. Friends who are here from the world, from mobile industry, recognize that it's almost impossible for terrestrial services to cover every square inch of any country, or our oceans, or our skies. In the past, just like 2G, we had the VSATs, which were connecting on a very slow 2G type of dial-up speeds some of the critical areas. With the launch of LEO networks, the low Earth orbit networks, now we have the possibility of connecting 4G speeds and massive capacities in the hands of those who have been left behind. India has 95% of population covered, but they live in 75% of the places. There are 5% of people who are in those remote areas, in mountains, in forests, in deep remote rural areas, where USO is trying to catch up and provide the services. And I want to assure the Prime Minister that with the launch of SATCOM services in this country, anybody, anywhere in the country, however remote or in difficult conditions they may be, will be able to connect on a fast-speed network to the internet using voice, data, videos, whatever is required, as is done on a 4G, 5G network.
Airline Indigo continues to remain in pole position as far as the September aviation data goes. My colleague Aditya Rao has more details. Aditya, what are you picking up?
So when we look at the September aviation data that was released by DGCA today, the market share numbers are not very different from the previous month. So Indigo's market share right now currently stands at 63% as compared to 62.4% in the previous month, followed by Air India, which is at 15.1%, followed versus 14.7% in the last month. Now, what's concerning in this entire data released by DGCA is that the technical issues were the part of the entire cancellations, which basically technical issues led the cancellations in the month of September, and 41.6% of the total cancellations were due to the technical issues reported by the airlines, followed by weather-related disruptions, which, because we are talking about the month of September, which is towards the end of the monsoons, so weather-related disruptions were around 17.8%, and operational challenges were 11.9%, and also miscellaneous causes which the airlines reported were nearly 27.9%. So all in all, the story stands that the technical issues related by the Indian aviators in the month of September led the cancellations. Most cancellations were caused by the technical issues in the month gone by.
Aditya, thanks for that. Now, the pollution level in Delhi is rising once again as the citizens of National Capital face 2 consecutive days of poor air quality, as per the data from the Pollution Department. Delhi's Air Quality Index, or AQI, entered the poor category on Sunday with a reading of 224, a day after the Dussehra celebrations across the capital. NDTV's Ishika Verma sends in a report.
Now, for the second day straight, the air quality index here in the national capital continues to be in the poor category. Now, amid all of this, today a very high-level meeting of the Delhi government was convened to discuss on the measures that will be taken to curb the pollution. Now, in fact, what it has been decided in this meeting that was chaired by the Chief Minister itself was that 33 teams of DPCC and Revenue Department will in fact be made and be, to ensure that there is implementation of the measures on the ground. Now, apart from that, let me also tell you that in fact 79 teams of the MCD are going to be formed to make sure that in fact, the solid waste are disposed, and 75 of MCD teams will be working for this during the night time as well. Now, in fact, let me tell you that in fact teams of in fact the power department are also going to be deployed to see that diesel generators are not run in the national capital even on the day of events. Now, the Delhi government in fact has said that it is also appealing to the people to make sure in fact that they follow all of these measures, because ultimately it is the residents of the national capital that are adversely impacted because of this. Now, with camera person Rakesh, this is Ishka Verma for NDTV Profit.
Tensions between India and Canada continue to escalate. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau accused India of supporting criminal activities in Canada, including murder and extortion. This follows the murder of a Sikh separatist on Canadian soil last year, an incident that has led to a diplomatic standoff between 2 nations. The situation has sparked concerns over how this could affect the bilateral relations and regional security. Here in for more details.
The relationship between India and Canada is at an all-time low. The relationship between the countries had already been strained in the last 12 months, but there was fresh development last evening when the Ministry of External Affairs released a statement in which it said that the government of Canada had reached out to the Indian government and said that few government officials of India were involved in some illegal activities in Canada, especially pertaining to the killing of Hardeep Singh Nijjar, who was a separatist leader based in Surrey, Canada, who was gunned down last June. What followed that June incident was an allegation in September in which Canadian government alleged that the Indian government officials were involved in some way in the killing. In the latest, the Prime Minister of Canada has said that the Canadian government repeatedly reached out to the Indian government, but there was no cooperation from this end. These allegations have been rubbished by the Indian government, and there have been some strongly worded statements exchanged between the governments, and both these governments have expelled about 6 each diplomats from each side. And also the Indian envoy to Canada has been recalled by the Indian government. So these developments have happened in the last 24 hours. And what we know so far is that the Royal Mounted Canadian Police, which is the leading police organization in Canada, they came out with a statement last evening in which in which it alleged directly that Indian government officials were involved in illegal activities. They also named Lawrence Bishnoi, the gangster jailed in Ahmedabad, and said that the Indian government, in conjunction with Bishnoi gang, had executed some of these activities on Canadian soil. All of these statements have been rejected by the Indian government in the statement released last evening. So that is what is the latest, and the Ministry of External Affairs will most definitely come out with a fresh statement. But there have been many allegations and counter allegations in the last 12-14 months. There was a brief lull where there was some kind of development in terms of relationship, but that was disrupted last evening, as I mentioned earlier. So what remains to be seen is what next from now, because both the sides have been going at each other. There have been tit-for-tat movements from both the sides. So all of that remains to be seen, and we'll bring you the latest.
Now let's take stock of some upcoming events. The 23rd meeting of the Council of Heads of Government, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, or the SCO, will be held on 16 October, that is tomorrow, in Islamabad. The summit is held annually and focuses on the trade and economic agenda of the organization. External Affairs Minister S.J. Shankar will represent India. At the meeting, he's scheduled to arrive in Pakistan today. That's all the time we had on this edition of Profit 360. Stay tuned to NDTV Profit for more fresh news and updates.